universal bracelet income.
Thank you. So this is it's a
Into the
concept
mic,
project.
into the mic.
Yeah, this is a concept project. It's something a little more futuristic. I don't expect it to be executed, but it's a play off of this slip device. And also, if you know a little bit about Andrew Yang's philosophy that everybody should have a basic livable income of $1,000 a month. So I'm kind of merging these two together in order to apply for, enter into a competition that LA is hosting. Okay, so the idea is to help, to provide these bracelets to the 10,000 transients that live in their vehicles in LA County, and to incentivize safety where they park at night and sleep in their cars. And I'll get to that in the next slide. Okay, so the problem is we have 60,000 homeless in LA County, and 10,000 of them live in their cars. They want to park somewhere and get rest for the night. Funny thing is, you may think that they don't work, but they actually do. They need their rest. They need to not be harassed by residents and police in order to get their rest so that they can go to work the next day and be fresh. Currently, it's illegal in most of LA to park in residential areas, and with good reason, because of safety reasons. So there's no easy way to help the vehicle-dwelling homeless to get a good night's rest while helping them to get back on their financial feet. So the solution that we came up with, that we're going to enter into this competition, is we're trying to contract parking lot operators. Whether they're independent lot operators or belong to corporations like Walmart, contract them with LA County government officials in order to provide a safe place for them to park at night and sleep. And we want to provide a little bit of money, a small amount onto their bracelet. There's a lot of funding in easing homelessness right now. I think this competition, there's over $1 million in awards, but besides that, Gavin Newsom declared that he's going to put aside a budget of $1 billion in order to ease the homelessness issue in California. Another positive aspect of what we have in play is that these 10,000 they're not the substance abusers or the ones with the mental issues. They're actually the ones that are getting back onto their feet and reintegrating into society. So we think that having a parking program where they are around other people in a similar situation that are getting back into society will help them with a sense of connection. And that will further help them to reintegrate and get back on their feet. Okay, so market validation, I did gloss over this. There's a competition for $1.3 million in awards, and the government is allocating $1 billion to this problem. The market size is 60,000 homeless in LA County alone, and 10,000 of them are the vehicle dwellers. That's our target market. And then there's 48 major cities in the US with growing homelessness problems. So that just kind of made me feel like this could be scaled into different cities, if it works. This is an example of the scheme that we've come up with in order about how to pay to the owners of the bracelets, and it's going to need a finance person to kind of come up with the exact figures, but I was just playing around with this. The further you can kind of control migration by incentivizing by how much you're paying to the owners of the bracelets. So the further away that they get from the center of LA, the expensive parts, the more that they income they get onto their bracelets. So again, like we're kind of trying to control migration outside of the expensive areas of LA and more into places like Lancaster or something. Now this is a heat map of saturation of where the homeless are dwelling. So we kind of really just want to move them outside of this very expensive area. So anyway, it's just an interesting project that we came up with. Although it's a for-profit company, it wouldn't make that much, to be honest. We're looking at revenue, if we scale to more cities in 5 years, really about 25 million in revenue. It's nothing like Airbnb, but it's a project that would work. Market adoption, basically, as far as I see it, everybody's incentivized because of the safety issues and organizing the city. The people with the bracelets get a basic income that will help them to build a little bit. It'll help them to build their future a little. Partnerships would be between the parking lot operators and government, and they could get tax breaks or government disbursements for participating in this program, and positive publicity for lot operators like Walmart or something. The competition that we had, and I wouldn't even call it a major competitor, LAHSA, Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. I reached out to them and they were actually very helpful. They want solutions that are based in innovative technology. There are other companies like us starting to pop up, like City Services. I do know the CEO there. He's entering into this competition as well. And then there is a safe parking program in LA. It hasn't gotten big yet, but it's offline based and it doesn't incentivize by paying disbursements. So ours is different in that aspect. Competitive advantage, basically.
Sorry, just to keep things
sorry.
moving forward, we're kind of short on time
Yeah, I'll
here.
go faster.
I appreciate that.
Sure. Actually, I kind of went over everything. The only thing left is that someone reached out to us from CNBC Advancements. It's a TV show, and they want to cover what Sergio and I are doing in terms of merging financial technology with this empowerment of lower income individuals. And I think the ask that I have is not financial, but more about some kind of strategy you can help us on. Should we continue this as kind of a wing to Sergio's company?
Into
Or,
the mic.
should we continue this as something that may get publicity for Sergio's company, or is this an idea that would be a non-start? I don't know, that's kind of my main ask.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Who's got some thoughts? We got like 5-6 minutes here. Let's.
Yes.
Nope. With the mic.
Just a quick question, how does the actual transaction work? So say I've got the bracelet and I've got a $20 credit on there that's been given to me somehow online with an account. Now the Walmart says that it's $1 a night for you to park there. How would you actually facilitate that transaction?
Yeah, so what Sergio and I were discussing was that there would be somebody checking you in every night. So I imagine like the security guard would be uploading the cash onto your bracelet. And for every one of these payment systems like Venmo, they do have to have a debit card in order to make a payment at the store.
Here, in the back.
Hi, my name is Tam, and I'm from the School of Law here. So my question for you is that I can foresee some municipality issues, right, with LA County. So how do you address the security concern, right? Because like when you facilitate the renting out a parking lot, who's going to be liable for, security? Would that be the county or would that be you? And then the second question would be that you are planning to kind of like relocate the population that, would be benefit the service towards the outside of the city, but would most of the time the resources stays within the city? And if you're trying to, get them access to the jobs and whatnot for the next day, wouldn't relocate them outside makes it kind of like tougher for them?
Yeah, these are great questions, and that's why I would need someone like you on my team if I were to.
Well, hey, come talk to me. And anyone who's more than welcome to come talk to us, because we've actually worked with startups that does, like housing for nonprofits. So please.
Okay, cool. I'll get your contact info.
See, that's the value of 1 million cups right there.
I think you have a great concept, whether you continue it as a spin-off or as a way to generate publicity for the parent company, doesn't matter. As long as you push forth with this, you will have challenges, particularly in addressing commercial buildings and making them feel safe to have folks parking in their parking lot. But you can find the right partners if you just push on with what you're doing. So I think this is great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Liam.
Hey, thank you for the presentation. So when I first, saw the slide for this, my thought was, okay, homelessness in LA, we all know it's a problem. Can more money really solve this? And then you showed more specifically that it's targeted towards the vehicle homeless, which I think is very smart. And I have friends who have experienced this exact type of homelessness in LA. It's a real thing. A few thoughts. One, I think the idea of you trying to redistribute the homeless population is a non-starter. If you can figure out the numbers or the pricing behind that and why that makes sense and why that's good for stakeholders, sure. But right now I think it's kind of half-baked. I probably could leave it out. Second, have you thought about partnering with a basically parking space rental company, kind of like an Airbnb for parking spaces?
This is so new, I haven't thought about that.
Okay, well, I do know a startup that does that. I'd be happy to put you in contact with them.
Great.
And last, I think you should clarify your Walmart example. Probably already know this, which is why you bring it up, but they have a policy that anyone can stay in their lots overnight for free, and they keep them well lit and everything like that. So, are they necessarily going to start charging for that? Perhaps, but probably clarify that example for next time.
Great, thank you.
Last thoughts? 2. That's it.
Well, the idea is a little confusing to me, so just maybe a moment of clarification. I get that there's $1 billion, $1.3 million available to give to people that are trying to solve this problem. So you're going to apparently distribute that cash. Why are you better than anybody else that has that has that cash? Like, why is your solution better than the 57 other people that are going to enter the competition?
So I don't know their solutions yet.
Okay, but you can serve. You don't need to know. Why should you be the winner?
I just haven't seen this kind of innovation in solving any homelessness issues. So to me, it's just interesting to come up with a new idea. I may not be better, but that's why I'm here to get feedback.
I guess what's the feedback from me is, I'm not sure what I get that I understand how the tech side of things works. What's not explained to me, or what I'm missing personally, is like, what is the innovation? If the innovation is the tech, that's somebody else's company. Like, what are you bringing to the table that is the innovation here?
Which part of it is somebody else's company?
Slip cash, the bracelet, right?
Oh, yeah, no, the innovation is, this is the innovation, combining, putting this layer on top of the slip.
So it's business model innovation to control it, to control migration.
Yeah, that's basically
Like,
it.
dude, that does not sound good.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good.
Like,
yeah.
It doesn't sound good.
It's just, I enjoy my.
But business model is a good way to innovate. I'm not disagreeing with that, but you gotta.
Yeah, I just enjoy my freedom of thought. So if I have a new idea, I'm going to share it.
Fair. No, that's fair.
I think you have to start with something.
Okay.
Instead of putting the money onto the person's bracelet, having a city account attached to this, so that when somebody comes into a space that it charges the city directly, so it's not going
That's a good
through
idea.
people. And then the same thing, you could do the same thing for food in the area. If there's a food vendor that's in the area, they have a certain amount per bracelet that's allotted to a city account that gets charged to the city account, so that the city gets to keep their accounting, and then there's not like malfeasance on the part of the individuals redirecting the funds to maybe something else, where somebody starts accepting this as payment for some other resources. So I think you're starting to get there. I think you need to noodle it through a little bit more. And it's a different model than what they're talking about doing. So right now you're tying yourself to them. There are other payment bracelet type things that you could use. If you're attaching it to this, I think that you may want to keep the publicities a little bit separate. You can mention it, but I wouldn't do it as a publicity thing for the company.
Yeah.
That will undermine what you're trying to do.
Interesting. That's
So
good.
just be cautious of that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. This is pretty cool. It's different and it's definitely outside the box. So you're needs some more noodling, but you're definitely trying to bring a creative solution to a problem that is out there. Everything else everyone's been saying, I would definitely agree with. Another hiccup you might run into is the security guard services. So I used to work at Allied Barton Universal, and those security guards have specific routines that they are and are not allowed to do, and how they're supposed to handle certain situations. Asking them to come in and process the band is not something that a very structured corporate company would most likely be willing to do. So you might need to think of a different type of solution. And they're the security guards that are over the Staples Center, a lot of the different universities, big parking lots that you're looking at being part of or going into, those are the security guards that are there. So there's big corporations that might stand in your way. So going through collaborating with the city and getting them on board might ease your way a little bit more.
Cool.
Last one, right?
Two more comments. So one is about the optic, right? So if migration is the optic you're trying to put out, maybe, in my opinion, you should probably rethink that. The other thing that you should probably focus on is accessibility, right? Because, and it's the same conversation with peer-to-peer lending, right? Or online lending, fintech lending, is that people now have access to things on the internet and a smartphone more than ever before in the past. So that'll be one thing. The other thing is verification process. So the population that you're looking at, they might not have ID or social security number, and that could be an issue in verification process too. And the other one would be data handling, right? What is your plan with the data? You should probably think about that too. But other than that, yeah, municipalities should be another issue, is that how would data be exchanged between the user of this app, of this service, and the city. Can the city, use that information for other process like, unwanted background check, or, any other things without the consent of the user, in this case.
That's good stuff to think about, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Universal Bracelet.
Thank you.